good morning everyone. My name is Zahid Junaid. I am currently working as an assistant professor at Riper. So today we are going to discuss very interesting topic, that is role of artificial intelligence in transforming in pharmaceutical research. First let us understand the concept of research. In previous days, so when the scientists, when they were in the need of any discovery of the new drugs or any other existing drugs for any other purpose use, so what they used to do, so they used to conduct many number of trials, that is trial and error method. So it was very time taking and it used to take the time of 10 to 15 years. So to launch any new drug or to discover any new drug, so it used to take the time between 10 to 15 years, because the scientists used to follow the method of trial and error method. So which was very time consuming. They have to do many number of trials, they have to do for any different excipients, different formulation. So it was very time taking. Here the artificial intelligence comes into the picture. So what actually happens by the discovery of AI, or else we can say that by implementation of artificial intelligence into the pharmaceutical research or in the pharmaceutical industry. So the first most and important advantage is reduction in the number of trials. So by use of AI, we can reduce the number of times for performing any research. So when compared to standard trial and error method, so we can reduce the research trials or any other objectives which we are going to perform or any other perspective we are going to work on. So by this we can achieve minimal trials and accurate results. Here in the trial and error form, there is less chance that we may get an accurate result. Since we are talking about discovery and research, the most and important thing which has been current trending is QBD, which is nothing but quality by design. In this, what we are going to actually do is, we are going to determine some factors and some responses, that is independent variables, dependent variables, and we are going to design any formulation. It might be tablets, it might be nanoparticles, or it might be any other thing. So by this we can use, by reducing the number of trials and by increasing the accuracy of the results what we want. So by this we can use. The quality by design actually consists of certain designs like central composite design and the box Bengen design. By this we are going to reduce the number of trials. So this is basically a design idea, or we can say design formula. By this we are going to use and develop a new formulation. It might be anything. So based upon our research and based upon our requirements, we are going to use these two designs to create a stable optimized formulation. Next, coming to the foremost and important concept, that is drug repurposing. So first we need to understand the concept of repurposing. So repurposing means using of old drug for new attribute, that is using of old drug for new attribute. So what actually happens in the attribute means, suppose we consider a drug which has been already been verified, it has been tested and it is safe. But in the olden days, it was used for any specific disease or any other specific disorder. But now, since the decade has been passed and the time has been changed, we can use the same drug molecule or the same drug particle for any other new attribute. New attribute refers to here other disease or other disorder. So what actually happened means, suppose imagine a formulation. It might be any tablet, or it might be any injection, or it might be any other formulation which you can take. In the olden days, it was used for mainly one particular disorder and one particular disease. Next, due to certain changes or due to some study, they have invented or they might have discovered any other new way, so that it can also be used for any other disease or any other disorder. So this is called drug repurposing. In olden days, since there was no artificial intelligence and the usage of computers was limited in the pharmacy field, so they used to take more time to study to design this type of drug repurposing. So now, since the drug repurposing has been established and it has been advanced more when compared to the olden days, so companies are using softwares to determine this and in an easy way. Third and most important concept is clinical trials. In the clinical trials, what actually happened means, in the previous day, suppose we can take an example of COVID-19. In the COVID-19, what actually happened? So there was no discovery, so there was no cure before to the spread of the COVID. Then what happens? So they decided to start working on and decided to design any vaccine or any other kind of formulation which can minimize the symptoms or which can reduce the disease. So what actually happens in the clinical trials in the previous days? So time taking. In the previous days, the clinical trial used to conduct for many years. The average time which was taken was around 7 to 8 years. Then there were also been issues related to the patient incompetent. Some patients were very cooperative, some patients were not cooperative, some patients also have some other issues, so they were not proper way. By the use of artificial intelligence, we can also overcome these two major problems. By this, we can design the clinical trials in a better way, or we can release the product which takes several years and the time has been reduced to months. So the main purpose here is to reduce the time which used to take years to months. So simple way we can say that, suppose 5 to 7 years was an initial time taken for clinical trials. This was the initial time. This we can reduce to months. So this is also one of the most important perspective, the implementation of AI in pharmaceutical research or pharmaceutical industry. So this is the new drug which is known as Halicin, which has been recently discovered to treat or act against any active bacteria. So this was developed by using artificial intelligence by pharmaceutical companies. So this is the best example by which we can use for which we can give an example for role of artificial intelligence in pharmaceutical research. So this was the first drug which was discovered in recent studies. So one of the most important and common factor while designing any formulation which we occur is gene factor. See, as you can see, in olden days when patients were prescribed any medication or any other drug, so they mainly focused on symptoms. In the traditional method or in the olden days, so patients were more focused on symptoms. So by that we are going to, or the doctor or any other pharmacist, they were going to prescribe the any medication or drug based on symptoms. The one of the most important factor which was neglected in those days was gene factor. So some diseases or some disorders may also be associated with gene factor. So which can also be, so gene factor or else gene plays an important role in certain diseases. So the genetical disorders mostly occur due to any malfunctions or any other disturbances in genes. So one of the best example for genetic can be given as diabetes, or sometimes we can also go with the examples like thyroid disease also. So based upon that, we can also use artificial intelligence to find out any gene factor or any genetical disorder based diseases when compared to the traditional methods. So this is a most an important thing, and since the gene therapy and gene factors and many other concepts related to gene have been developing in since nowadays, so by use of artificial intelligence in the genetic factor may also be useful for developing the drug or any other dosage form in a fine and accurate way. So next concept which we are going to study here is personalized medicine. So personalized medicine is nothing but tailored medicine. So as you can see in the term tailor. So what actually stands for tailor? In general terms, we can use tailor for who stitches the clothes or any other suits or any other thing as per the person's body shape and requirements. In the same way, we are going to use personalized medicine as per different persons of age and gender requirements. So this is the most and important thing in treatment of certain diseases or certain disorders. So by use of artificial intelligence in the transformation, we can use to design the personalized medicine or tailored medicine in a more effective way, and we can overcome the time taken. So by this, in the traditional method, the time taken to design any personalized medicine was lengthy, and sometimes it was not also accurate. So by this method, we can also use to reduce the error. So by this method, we can also overcome the problem, that is reduce the error and improve the accuracy. So since the accuracy is most important by use of artificial intelligence, we can reduce the errors, anything which we can occur, and we can overcome them, and we can also study them in detail. So what actually causing the error and how to overcome it by use of artificial intelligence. So drug interactions. So drug interaction is also one of the most important and unique concept which we can design or which we can study to improve the so drug interactions or drug excipient interaction or any other concept we can use to study this drug interaction. The main purpose of drug interaction study is to overcome the error or any incompatibility in a particular formulation. So by use of artificial intelligence, we can reduce the time. So the main purpose of including AI to this particular study is we can reduce the time. So previous is traditional method to identify any drug interaction or any other particular case, the time taken was more. By the use of AI, we can reduce the time. So these are the certain basic concepts or basic important points which we can say why artificial intelligence is necessary in pharmaceutical research. So by this, I can conclude that everyone should learn the use of AI in pharmaceutical industry, or we can say that use of AI in pharmaceutical research or in academics or any other thing. Because since the time has been changed and the situation has been drastically changed from traditional to now in the 21st century, the first thing what we need to do is we need to be thorough with the softwares which are available. Some of the most, so these are the some companies which are currently using artificial intelligence in their respective companies to improve the pharmaceutical research in terms of drug discovery, in terms of clinical trials, in terms of any study of drug interaction study, or study of developing any new dosage form, or developing even in development of vaccines also the artificial intelligence has been implemented.